worm farm got eaten up by one of our dogs a couple years ago. That's why you see all these chew marks on it. Jack, go. Come. One of our other dogs over here. So we put a gate up and we have it gated off, so that's why that dog's interested in it. So we've taken 2 of the baskets out. This is the 3rd basket, and we've emptied them out so that they're clean again. It's got grids in the bottom of it, so the worms can pass from one layer to the other as they want to, and they're pretty deep, so it takes a bit of stuff. Once they get down here, once the juices go through all the bins, the juices come down and end up in this glass jar, and then we can tell when it's full, and then we put that out on our we dilute it and then we put it out on our Square Foot Gardens. So we're restarting these this season, so I'm throwing some newspaper in the bottom of it. I'm also throwing some cardboard in the bottom of it. Cardboard's not quite as good as newspaper. I just don't have enough newspaper just to do newspaper. So I'm going to be putting a little bit of that cardboard, a little bit of that newspaper down in each one of these bins. And I've got 3 bins here that I'm doing that with. Just putting enough in there to cover the bottom. They can eat this as well if they want. And they run out of stuff to eat in there, so it kind of gives me a little bit of something extra in case I'm on vacation, or in case I don't get a chance, or I forget, because I do have a chance. I would just forget. But if I forget to feed them, then they could actually eat that. I'll soak those real good so that they've got enough moisture in there. And then what I'm doing is I'm throwing in the stuff that was in those. Since I emptied them out, I've still got some worms in this pile here, and I'm going to go ahead now and put some more of this dirt back in here, minus the big sticks, because they don't need it in there and I don't need it in there. Making sure this stuff is broken up a bit here. And then once I've got a decent amount in there, I'll put another bin in there. And then we'll do the same thing on this bin. We'll just throw some of this stuff back in there. On all 4 sides. Like that. Now these are what our oops, I dropped the damn thing. This is what our red worms look like. These little tiny worms, but they're the ones that we like to see in the garden. Here's a bigger one for you to see. They end up doing a good job in the garden. So we'll just put a little bit of that in there. Add a bit more of this dry stuff in there. It'll be wet by the time I'm done with it, but for right now I just need it as a filler. And then the last one goes up here on the top. And I'll just throw all this stuff back in here. I'll order more red worms this year. It's almost time. And we'll have more red worms in the garden than what I currently have out here. And I'm just trying to get some of the extra worms here that I have on the ground up in there. I have a chicken that comes over here and scratches and pecks at stuff all day long, and whatever worms I left over here on the ground right now, she'll just come over and eat. I picked this location. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put a little more in this one. I picked this location because it's shaded. You don't want to have a spot that's too sunny, or your worms will cook. You also want to be careful when you put your manure and stuff in here. If you're putting a manure or something in here, you want to make sure that you're careful not to put anything that's too hot, because it will cook your worms as well. Okay, so I think that'll do. I still see a bunch of worms down here, but the chicken can have them. And then what happens is this little piece of wood just goes on the top. There's air around it. I will spray water in here, and the water will go through all 3 layers to the 4th layer, and then fill the cup up once the worms have digested the food that we're going to be putting in here. And that's it. That's our location for our worms. I'm going to zoom back a little so you can see kind of how tall that is compared to some of the other stuff. That artichoke you see over to the left, that's going to take that whole 4 square foot garden up, so it's kind of off by itself. And this is the little turnout area. We do our strawberry bed over there. We do, close this gate back up here, keep the dogs out. So we do those square foot gardens right there. This is the one that we usually do all of our onions in. And we're just about to start planting everything back into our other garden over here. We've already got stuff coming up in the garden, like you see the kale, that red kale right there coming up. We've got so many tomatoes right now, it's ridiculous. These are the sweet little tomatoes. We've also got our beanpole teepee. It's starting to come up. We're starting to get a bunch of stuff in there coming up. We've got our nasturtiums, peppers, poblanos. This is our latest crop that's starting to come in. Our broccoli's looking really good. We've got cabbage coming in. We've got some cauliflower coming in, more of the same. So we got a bunch of stuff already started this year. Now we're just waiting for another week, I think, and then we're gonna be pulling stuff out of our greenhouse. And we've got just a ton of stuff in the greenhouse to go in here. So good start on the year, good start on getting stuff growing, and now we'll get our worms up and running. Thanks for watching.